Student debt is a great problem that is getting worse by the day. As you can see, slide number 2 illustrates that tuition and fees have increased by 1,120% in the past 30 years. These tuition raises have surpassed the rate of inflation, and people can no longer keep up with the price of a higher education. Project Student Debt published data that stated that 71% of students now graduate with debt. This debt is over $29,000 per student. So the question is, how can we fix this problem? One way to fix the problem would be that individual universities can cut their costs. Slide number 3 highlights a few ways that universities can cut costs. One way is through new 3-year degree programs. Intuitively, we know that 3-year degree programs would cost less than 4-year degree programs simply because you're in school for one less year. Students will save money on housing, food, supplies, along with tuition. CSU and other schools have implemented 3-year degree programs, but it is not yet widely accepted across America. Hopefully, as the success rate goes up with the schools that have implemented these programs, it will be more widely used in the future. Dr. Richard Vedder, director of the Center for College Affordability and Productivity in Washington, D.C., stated that a simple way for universities to reduce their cost is by cutting down on their paper costs. This would be through stopping the offering of free printing in colleges, and also by having students submit homework online and assignments online instead of in class. Dr. Catherine Lau, an economist and former president of the University of Wisconsin system, pointed out that another great problem that is costly to universities is administrative bloat. Administrative bloat occurs when individual departments have a great number of administrative units that incur costs. And each administrative unit incurs their own cost by having to pay faculty and staff, IT for the computers, along with the janitorial services to keep the units clean. A solution to this problem would be to merge each department and have fewer administrative units. However, the negative side effect to this solution would be that it would add to the unemployment problem. As each administrative unit would cut down on their staff, the staff would then become unemployed. It is my personal opinion that we should not attempt to fix one problem while adding to another problem, which would be unemployment. So another solution to reduce the cost of tuition is not widely accepted, but it is to reduce federal financial aid given to each student. This idea was first presented by William Bennett and is now called the Bennett hypothesis. Refer to slide number 4, please. This model shows that price with aid, which is P2, is higher than price without aid, which is P1. So this implies that students are willing to pay more for a higher education when they are given money through federal funds to pay for the school, even if these funds are loans which they need to repay. This follows basic economic principle, as stated by Aaron Smith, who is a Vaughn Mises Institute contributor. He also said that the federal financial aid negative side effects would be skyrocketing tuition. So this leads us to the question of, has the Bennett hypothesis been proven with real evidence? Please refer to slide number 5. You will see that the answer is no. There is no solid evidence that supports the Bennett hypothesis. We do have data that supports it. As you can see on the chart, CSU tuition has risen every year, along with federal financial aid funds. Unfortunately, it is now seen that tuition raises every year, whether or not federal financial funds increase. This was observed and pointed out by Jordan Wiseman in The Atlantic. If you will now turn to your final slide, we will see that the final solution presented would be government intervention through federal regulation of tuition. While it is appealing that the government would swoop in and demand that colleges lower their cost, it does not necessarily work that way. We are told by Patricia McGuire, who is president of Trinity Washington University, that with each regulation, it costs the entities that are being regulated. Each regulation comes with compliances, and compliance costs money, and this cost is often transferred to the students, which we suffer from. So we see that there are many different conversations and arguments going on about the ways to control rising tuition. but the data shows that the best option with the lowest negative impact would be for the individual universities to cut their costs. To achieve this, students must advocate for lower cost and also respond well to cuts. As students, we must stay on top of our student loans, get good jobs, work to make a brighter future for later generations, and hopefully these later generations will be able to enjoy the cost of lower tuitions. Thank you.